Hi, it's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. So, did you miss me? What am I talking about? Well, I have actually been gone from my business for the last 6 weeks. And if you regularly watch my videos, you probably wouldn't have been able to tell because I scheduled out a bunch of videos to go out while I was gone. But I was gone. I actually took a sabbatical for the first time in my career. It's the longest amount of time I've ever taken off when I worked for other people or when I worked for myself. I took 6 full weeks off, completely disconnected, did not check my work email at all. And I just wanted to share about that experience with you because it's definitely not something that I had done before. And really, it wasn't even something I thought about doing until last year when I noticed a couple of my colleagues were doing something similar in the summer, and it got me inspired to start thinking about it. And so I thought you just might be interested to know how that went, to know what goes into that, and what I learned from it. Just in case that helps you, if you work at, I know there are lots of companies that offer paid sabbaticals. There are lots of places where you can take unpaid time off. So I know it might seem like, well, you work for yourself, of course you can take time off, but I work for myself, which means if I take time off, I'm not working, which means I am not earning any money during that time, things like that. So there are other things that make it harder. But I just wanted to talk about that process. So, last December, every December, I start to map out my calendar year for the next year. And so I start blocking off the, vacations that I plan to take or, time that I'm going to be off. I look at my kids' school calendars, I'm blocking those school events off and all of that stuff, just so that I have a good rough plan for the year. And I did something last December after really thinking, having this idea percolating in my brain about a sabbatical and what that could mean. I took the bold step of blocking 6 whole weeks off in the summer on my calendar so that nobody could book anything in there. And it would just be off. It'd be like a commitment out there in the future. And that's the first thing I did. And then I talked to the colleagues and friends that I have who had taken sabbaticals before, and I asked them for their top tips. I said, okay, here are the things I'm planning on doing to make sure that this is as least disruptive as possible for my business and for my clients, et cetera. Here's the things I'm thinking about. What else would you consider? What have you done? So I got some great advice from them, mainly about making sure that my reentry was smooth, making sure that I was giving myself just like a lighter week, the week that I was back. And this is my first week back. I just got back a few days ago. And I took that to heart. And then also I just incorporated the things that I always incorporate when I am taking any kind of vacation, which are things like blocking off the first day that I'm back to get back to inbox zero, to be, to just get my task list back in order, to make sure that the plan that I had planned for the week that I was returning still makes sense given new stuff that had come up. So really did a lot of prep work. I worked with my assistant in advance to make sure that he had, a full slate of things that he could be working on to make sure that he was doing meaningful work while I was gone. Really did a lot of prep work to set up. Now, you might think like, well, it must have gone so smoothly then. And honestly, it was amazing. It was wonderful. It was everything that I wanted and more. And yet, like in every experience, there are things that don't go as planned, right? There were a couple of ones for me that were kind of interesting, and I just thought I would share those as well. So the first one is that I thought, okay, I'm going to have this sabbatical. I'm going to have 6 weeks away from work. My kids aren't in school right now. It's the summertime. I am going to be able to wake up naturally every day without an alarm clock, and it's going to be amazing, right? I would say waking up is the hardest part of my day. It's been the hardest part of my day since I was 5 years old. I am a total night person. And I just thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to be on my normal body rhythms. It's going to be fantastic. That did not happen. And it didn't happen because I kind of forgot that I live, with other people and that they might have needs as well. And so, my husband, we were on a different time zone. My husband was working a schedule that was like 3 p.m. to midnight. And so if we wanted to do fun things during the day, I couldn't sleep until noon. Like we just didn't have enough time to make it happen. And so that was a little sad for me. I had thought my normal wake up time was like, between 9 and 10. It turns out my normal wake up time is more like, 10 to 10:30. And we just couldn't make it happen. So I did have to set an alarm. Setting an alarm for 9:30, way better than setting an alarm for 7 a.m. But still, like that did not go down as I planned. So maybe, when my kids go to college, maybe when I'm retired, I will be able to live by my own body clock, but it did not happen this time in this way. So a little bit of a disappointment, but I learned to temper my expectations for next time. Another thing that I thought was really interesting is like, so one thing to know about me, I love cooking so much. It's like one of my favorite pastimes. It's the thing that, I know normally people are not that excited to cook dinner at the end of the workday, but I am. Like, that's something I really like doing. It's a time when I get to be creative, get to be in the flow. Cooking every day is something I really look forward to. And I thought that, I'm going to have this 6 week stretch. I'm going to be less planned about things. And instead I'll, like go to the market every day and see what looks good and make a plan on the fly. And it'll be this like leisure, blissful time. In fact, I didn't find that to be true. I didn't really I didn't want to go to the market every day. I liked planning a little bit in advance for meals. Um, and when I had kind of all the time in the world and like all the ingredients, not just like what's in my refrigerator, I was actually like less creative about my meals. And so that was just kind of an interesting aside. I had thought, oh, this thing that like in my normal scheduled life is such an outlet, it's going to be even better when I have all this time. And the reality actually wasn't true. So I don't know what that says about me for my eventual retirement, but for right now, I'm really happy that I have cooking as something that I get to look forward to at the end of every day. So not everything went perfectly. Of course, I also missed out on opportunities. As I mentioned, I got back a couple of days ago. My first day back was all blocked out just to get email back down to inbox 0, which I did. I got it to inbox 5-ish, right? Took me about 9 hours to make that happen. I had about 1,700 emails when I got back, and among those emails, there were several missed opportunities, right? Things that had I been working would have been great workshops to do for companies or people to work with, new clients to work with who, I was gone for a while and they found other solutions while I was gone. So that's a bummer, but also something that I kind of expected to happen. And you got to weigh the bad with the good. Like there's always FOMO, and sometimes it turns out to be real. And also, I wouldn't have not taken my sabbatical because of that, right? And there was also kind of a happy surprise. I had this sinking feeling, even though I love what I do, right? I love it. I love the people I get to work with. I love the people I get to help, the content I get to create, all of that. I have this sinking suspicion that what if, I take this time off and I don't want to go back? Like, I don't want to go back to my business. I don't want to go back to work. Like, what if that happens? How am I going to feel? And I was really pleased to realize that that didn't happen at all. After about 4 weeks or so, I actually started to have the opposite feeling. I was like, I have some creative ideas I want to start working on. There's some things that I want to start doing, but I was fighting myself in the opposite way, saying like, no, you're on your sabbatical. Don't do any work, right? That's not what we're doing right now. And so I was really pleased that, the business, the work, the things that I have in my normal life are things that I actually wanted to return to, that I felt really good about. And so that was kind of a really nice a way to end that experience. Now, hopefully this is interesting to you. If not, you probably stopped watching a long time ago. But I also just wanted to talk about, is this possible for folks who don't work for themselves, right? And I think it is, right? I did some research and I found this list of 75 companies, lots of them are companies you know of, who offer paid sabbaticals after a few years of working for them. So this is something that, you may have access to. You might even want to check if your company is one of these companies that has access to this, because maybe you're a year away, or maybe, maybe it's already been past that time and you could take advantage of something like this. I also know that a lot of companies do offer paid time off if you ask for it. And so, maybe you could take an extended time away if you have the resources and have it be unpaid. So there are lots of different ways that you might be able to make something like this happen. And if an extended period of time away doesn't make any sense for you at all, I get that as well. But what I want you to think about is the next time that you take a vacation, think about how you can intentionally take that time really disconnected, right? I think that was one of the real values for me. I mean, I never check email on vacation, but on this one, I might have been tempted. It's a long time away. I really disconnected. I did not check email at all. I did not engage with anything related to work. And that brought me such clarity in terms of what I really do like and what I really am excited for. And just having that ability to step aside, I had so many creative thoughts that were kind of percolating in the background that I came back with. And so when I would have one of those ideas, I'd just like email myself, and then I caught it on the way in once I was back. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what I've been up to for the last 6 weeks. And if you can glean anything from this and take it into your world, I would be so happy to hear that as well. If you've ever taken a sabbatical, if you have any tips for anyone else, drop those in the comments. I am sure folks would love to see it.